Hey there, curious. Are you new here? Is this the first time you're jumping in, or you're just trying to figure out what is this affluent entrepreneur show about, and who the heck is Mel Abraham? Well, in this episode, I'm going to talk about why I do what I do, the show, how it can serve you, how it can support you, especially in these uncertain times. What does it take to be an affluent entrepreneur, and how you can navigate some of the episodes? Because we're up to 100 episodes now that are out there serving and supporting, and we've got a whole bunch more coming your way. So enjoy the episode. Let's talk some more about how I can help you find financial freedom in your life. Cheers. See you next. Hey there, Mel Abraham here, the Affluent Entrepreneur Show. Welcome to this episode. This one is a unique one. It's one that actually my show producer asked me to do because let's face it, we've done 100 episodes. We've gotten we're getting tens of thousands of downloads. We've got it on YouTube, and she said, what happens if people just find you? They don't know who you are. They don't know how to use the show. They don't understand what you stand for. So this episode is really about you, but we're going to talk a little bit about why I do it. How do you use it? How can the Affluent Entrepreneur Show help you move yourself closer and faster to financial freedom? So this is kind of the calling, the season of my life as is to do this. I truly believe that financial freedom, it's a birthright. It's your birthright. It's everyone's birthright. Now, it doesn't mean that it's easy, but it is simple when you understand the principles. And unfortunately, in our world, we don't talk about money. We don't talk about it. We don't understand how to go claim it. And that's what this show was born out of. In 2019, I was diagnosed with cancer. They found what turned out to be a 7.5 centimeter tumor in my bladder. Now, went through 3 surgeries, 4 tumors removed, and at the time when it first started, everything was in jeopardy. They said they might have to take my prostate out. They said they might have to put a tube and a bag in for the kidney, and they said if it's bad, that I lose my bladder. So, I mean, my life got turned on its head in a moment, and and the thing that happened was that I had to battle the cancer. I had to battle it psychologically. I had to battle it physically, emotionally, medically, energetically. I had to battle it on all fronts, but I didn't have to battle it financially. And as I was coming out of that cancer and trying to search for the reason of why I got the cancer, I didn't have any of the risk factors, not a smoker, not a drinker, lived pretty well a clean life other than a sweet tooth, worked out 6 days a week, all the things. No one in my family's ever had cancer, so I don't know why I had it. But the problem was I was searching for the why in the past. And I asked myself a crazy question. I said, well, what happens if the reason for the cancer isn't in the past, it's in the future? Because if it's in the future, I actually get to give it the why. I get to choose the why for it. And that's what happened is that June 2019 was the diagnosis. And then shortly thereafter, what happened around the world. We had the pandemic. I watched people uh, struggling. I watched people lose their financial, living. They lost their jobs. All kinds of things were happening, and it dawned on me because I didn't have to fight the cancer financially. I didn't have to fight the pandemic financially because I set some things up, because I did money a certain way. It's the way I do it with my clients. It's the way I work with my clients in my master's program, in the Affluence Blueprint program, and my one-on-one clients. It's what allowed my son, who's now 32 years old, and his wife 30, with their first child. And they own 3 homes and a multi-million-dollar net worth. And it dawned on me as I watched what was happening to society globally and everything financially, that if they just understood the principles of what it means to be an affluent entrepreneur, if they just understood how to deal with money effectively, they wouldn't be struggling, they wouldn't be suffering. And there was my why for the cancer. To, in this new season of my life, as I was coming out of the cancer, once I knew that I was past the cancer, I'm now 2 years clear from the cancer, and I wanted to go back out and serve. I wanted to turn my businesses back on again. It is to bring that message to the world. It is to pave the path, to light the way, if you will, to financial freedom, because it is a birthright. It's to have safe and sane conversations around money, around wealth, around living a generous life. To do that in a way, whether you're an entrepreneur or employee, okay, to be able to do that effectively. And so everything I do, this show, my YouTube channel, my training, my speaking around the world is all focused on lighting the way to financial freedom, lighting the way to living a rich life, not just a wealthy life. Wealth is a statistic. And so that's what gave birth to this show a little over a year. And I've been blessed. First I've been blessed to be able to move myself past the cancer, to conquer it, to go after it. And we can talk more about that at another time of how we did that, because we went at it in a very different way, and all that. But at the same time, is to understand where I came from. I was a single full-time dad building a business. My son came to live with me at 5.5 years old, and like I said, he's 32. And so I had to figure out, how do I take care of the greatest gift that was given to me, which is my son. To be a dad, to be a father, to to relish this gift, while at the same time live my dream of impacting lives, to create a business, to be the entrepreneur, because I thought I was doing it right, but I wasn't. Frankly, I was a horrible dad. Not really horrible, but let's just put it this way. Jeremy, at 6 years old, drew a picture of me. And he came in from school saying, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy, I drew a picture of you at school today." Now, he was excited about it. I was excited about it. I knelt down. I got to his level. I grabbed this picture. And next thing I know, it's a stick figure picture in blue felt tip pen. And it's me standing in front of two computer screens with a phone in each ear and another phone on the desk reading. And at the hands of a 6-year-old boy, I was taught the most important business and money lesson of my life. See, here's the thing. Is it was in that moment where I had a lot of people telling me that well, Mel, you got to get work-life balance. You got to figure out how to do that. And that's when I started to understand that this idea of work-life balance is it's a fallacy. You cannot. Balance insinuates that you have a weight on one side and a counterweight on the other side. It's like this constant tug of war that gives you, on average, balance. Okay, it's like sitting back and saying, my feet are in the freezer, my head is in the oven, and on average, I'm warm. No, you're cooking on one side, you're freezing on the other, and there is no average. There is no balance, but there is harmony, and that is when you live intentionally. And that's what I started to do, is I started to figure out and say, how do I live a business life? How do I become an entrepreneur without jeopardizing, without sacrificing my relationship, my role as a dad, as a single dad, to be able to make that happen? So that's what gave rise to some of the principles and the things that I teach, the things that I lived for the decades that followed. But also, I'm a husband. I've got a beautiful bride that this coming month we will be 11 years married. And she's been by my side during the cancer, during all kinds of things. And why I bring that up is I'm a family guy. I'm an identical twin. I've got an identical twin brother. All right. And our wives actually believe that we share a brain. It's just a matter of who's got it at that moment. So, but I say this because I think it's important for you to maybe understand where I come from. Family's important. Relationships are important. It's the very reason I say that one of the critical outcomes of being an affluent entrepreneur. See, too often when they hear me say affluence, they think opulence. It has nothing to do with opulence. Affluence is all about having a meaningful life, something that gives you joy internally. It's about having an impactful life, something that leaves a positive impact on those you come close to. It's about having a fruitful life, creating the money and the wealth that you need to sustain yourself, to get behind your movements, to live your mission. And it's a peaceful life. That's affluence. That's true affluence. But one of the critical outcomes of being an affluent entrepreneur is to have a richer lifestyle. And the term richer isn't riches. Richer is about the feelings and the experiences and the relationships that you create along the way. And so everything that we teach, everything that I talk about is to allow you to get that richness back in your life, to give you the option, the choices to be able to make that happen. It's not about keeping score in a bank account. I actually think that wealth shouldn't be measured in money. Wealth should be measured in time. How much of the time do you control? How much of your time do you control? Because we don't need the money for the money's sake. We don't want to build wealth for the wealth's sake. We want the money for the moment's sake. To be able to control the moments of my life. And the more moments I can control in my life, the richer that life is. To choose who you want to do things with, how you want to do things, where you want to do things, and when you want to do things. To have choices and options. Now, I hope that this is resonating with you because that's the journey we're on. That's the journey we should be on. And so it's really about creating that. Now, I'm not infallible. I am a CPA by education. So I've come from a business background, but I came from a blue collar family or white collar family. I don't know. My dad was an engineer in the aerospace industry. So we didn't come from riches. We didn't come from wealth. We didn't come from anything. We had certainly had everything we needed. I had two great parents. My mom's still with us. My dad passed away a little over a decade ago. But, I went into a business education, CPA. I started valuing businesses. I was buying and selling business. I was consulting. I sit on boards of directors. And I'm telling you this so you understand that I'm not just someone that has never run the miles, that doesn't have the academics or the credibility or the knowledge or the education around it. So I come from that academic side of buying, selling, consulting, building businesses, buying and selling businesses, and doing all those things. But I also come from the street side because trust me, I screwed up. I've made more bad investments than some people will ever make in a life. I got caught up in a Ponzi scheme in 2005 that wiped out 1/3 of everything I own. Between me and two other friends, we lost over $4.5 million. And I had to figure out how to rebuild. As a single dad, sitting with my son, what was it to take? Now, here's the good news. I mean, the good news is that I did enough right to be successful, to find financial freedom, to build a money machine, as we talk about, a wealth machine, as we talk about. Done enough things right to make that happen. But here's the more important and the more valuable thing for you. I've done enough things wrong to be educational, to be able to have the conversation around the mistakes I made, to maybe light the way, to warn you about the potholes, to warn you about the things that maybe could come your way. And so you can avoid them. You don't go through the pains that I went through. The Ponzi scheme wiped out, like I said, 1/3 of everything I own. But the principles and the lessons and the things that came out of that are priceless. Within 18 months, not only did I recover what was lost, but I surpassed it by 3 times. So we 3x'd it. It gave rise to the rules and the principles that I teach today, that I used in my life, that my son is using in his life, and my clients and the students that are doing that. And so this is my calling in this next season of my life. That's why this show is here. I hope that's why you're here. I want to guide you. I want to light the way. I want to have safe and sane conversations around money in a society where we demonize money, where we demonize entrepreneurs, where we demonize wealth, where we demonize success. I want to embrace it. The generosity that comes out of having wealth, having money, the generosity that comes out of being able to give back, to make a difference in people's lives is huge. I've got a colleague that walked into a school supply store, and he walked in and he said he was extremely successful. He says, "How much for everything on the shelves?" And the clerk looked at him and says, "I can't sell you everything on the shelves." And he looked at him and he says, "Wait a second, aren't you in the business of selling stuff? Why can't you sell me everything on the shelves?" Well, he says, "Well, we have open orders, online orders. We got to fill them." He says, "Great. Hold some of it back, then sell me the rest." He bought out the whole store, and he walked into a school and donated it all. See, the generosity to be able to get behind a mission, a movement, an impact to society is what affluence is about. It's what the show is about. It's what entrepreneurs do. Yeah, there may be bad ones, but by and large, the entrepreneurs that I work with and the ones that I see, they're there to serve their team, serve their customers, serve society, serve a movement, serve a mission. And my guess is if you're listening to this show, you're one of them. Now, as we go along our way, there's no question that we're in uncertain times. We've got rising inflation. We've got increasing interest rates. Costs for everything from gas to groceries are going up. People may start getting fearful. They may start getting scared. The market is up and down. It's up 100 points. It's up 500 points. It's down 1,000 points. It's all over the place. That creates an amount of fear in people. But most of that is something that can be dealt with if you have the understanding of what to do. And we don't fall prey to these TikTok advisors that have no background, that have no experience, but they're out there parading their Lambos, their yachts, their planes, as if that is a measure of their credibility. And it isn't. So this is, as much as it's about money and potentially investing, it's not about that. It's about your life. It's about living a life that's full of richness, living a life that's by your design, living a life that gives you complete freedom. Freedom from a financial standpoint, freedom from a time standpoint, and freedom in your mind. So that's what this show is about. And if you're on this journey with me, or if any of this resonates with you, stay with me. We're going to make a difference. We'll do this together. No matter how volatile the market gets, no matter what happens in the economy, I will help you out. And even if I don't know all the answers, which I don't, I'll find them or we'll navigate them together. So here's what I ask. Here's how to get the most out of this. I want you to watch or listen each and every week. We release shows weekly, at least one a week, and sometimes 2 or 3 a week, depending on what's going on. So catch me on YouTube. Catch me on my website at melabraham.com. Watch the show at theaffluententrepreneurshow.com. Make sure that you're in with me, okay? And know that I'm there for you. So I want you to submit questions. If you have questions, money questions, wealth questions, business questions, send them to me. Better yet, go to askmelnow.com and leave me a voice message about your question. Leave me your information, because in some cases I might want to bring you on the show and have a conversation, give you live coaching, give you live guidance. In other cases, I might simply record a separate episode specifically for you. In other cases, I might just send you an answer. Okay? But I want you to submit your questions. I want to have a dialogue, a conversation. It's time for us to have those same conversations around money, wealth, success, and to do that. The other thing you can do is comment on the show. Leave a review. Leave a review on iTunes and Spotify. Do those things. And at the same time, I have other resources for you. If you go to melabraham.com, you'll see free resources there. I also have a 7-day money plan workshop that will take you through to help you understand the fundamentals of building an unshakable financial foundation for you. You can find that at themoneyplanworkshop.com. Okay, themoneyplanworkshop.com. Walk you through it that way. And then those of you that want to go deeper, we can talk about it another time, but we have my Affluence Blueprint, which is my online training and coaching. I have my master's program, which is my group coaching program and all that. And then we have all the episodes that are in the show right now that are up wherever podcasts are, up on my YouTube channel, and everything. We'll hook all that up. But I want to walk through a couple of episodes just to highlight the ones that maybe will help. So episode number 4, we talked about the simple path to building wealth. What are the key things that you need to have in place to start building wealth to make that happen? So it's an episode that I think you can start out. Then episode 8 is, what's your number for wealth creation? In other words, here's the thing. People will say, oh, I just want to have $1 million. But they don't know why. They haven't thought about it. They haven't thought about what the number should be. In reality, get a vivid, specific plan and vision of what your financial future should look like. What does the finish line look like? What does the number need to be to give you the lifestyle you want? And in episode 8, we walk through that. Episode 19 is creating your money machine. This is literally one of the things that we kind of focus on, is how do you create a money machine that gives you the financial freedom? That's what allowed me to shut down my businesses and focus solely on healing, to give me the flexibility to do what I needed to do without changing our lifestyle, without selling, without draining our bank accounts or selling assets to make it happen. And then some people, one of the core elements that we talk about in the Affluence Blueprint is the wealth priority ladder. In other words, for every dollar that comes in, what do you do with it? What do you do with it first? What do you do with it next? Do you allocate it to debt? Do you allocate it to investments? How do you go about it? What are the priorities? Well, we talk about that in episode 24, what to do with your cash. So we'll make sure that we hook that up too. And then we start to look at other things like funds, and investing funds and that kind of thing. And so episode 25, I talk about the fundamentals of investing in index funds and ETFs. What are they? How do you look at them? And then for those of you that maybe are finding themselves in debt, I have a different view on debt. I have a different view on how to get out of debt. And so I have episode 40 that is getting out of debt the affluence way. That if you have consumer debt, if you feel that you've got debt, student loan debt, auto debt, and you're trying to figure out what to do with it to get yourself out of that place, go to that episode. Work through it. See, most of my episodes, they're tactical, tangible, actionable things to do. Because if we're going to move you to wealth, we've got to take actions to get you to wealth. The fact is that your wealth is more about your behaviors than it is about your money. So let's fix the behaviors. And through the episodes, through the things that we do here on the show, if you go out and execute them, you'll see that you'll start to shift. You'll start to shift your financial future. I bring on guests. I've had a guest on that went from $130,000 in debt to out of debt in 90 days. I've got some that have built $1 million net worth in a short period of time. And we talk to them, and we talk about the journey, we talk about the decisions. So my point is that your resources to find the path to financial freedom is here in the Affluent Entrepreneur Show. I want us to do this from this perspective. Listen, I'm not an investment advisor by the technical definition because I don't sell investments. I got nothing to sell you. So I'm not selling you insurance. If you need insurance, I'll tell you you need insurance. But then you have to go get it. I'm not I'm not doing that. I'm here to sell you on your dreams. I'm here to sell you on the possibility of financial freedom in your lifetime. I'm here to get you to realize that whatever your existence is today, whatever your life is today, we can make it better tomorrow. And you don't have to do it. That's what this show is about. So I hope that this serves you. I hope that this helps you. I hope that this gives you a perspective on what the Affluent Entrepreneur show is about, what me, Mel Abraham, is about, what my team and organization is about, and what my mission is. Okay? And in that process, I hope to be able to serve you, guide you, and watch you soar so I can celebrate you. So I hope this helps. We'll hook up all those resources here, but explore, reach out, let me know, let me help, and let me guide you until I get a chance to see you in another episode or meet you on the road. As always, always, always strive to live a life